Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope everybody is doing well. That Wendy Williams documentary, I told you guys that I was going to watch it. I expected it to be disturbing. I expected it to be very sad. I am a Wendy Williams fan way before she got on television. Okay, listen to her faithfully when she was on the New York radio shows, and lost track of her when she got fired. I think Kiss FM, was it Kiss FM that fired her? And then WBLS brought her back to New York. I think she went to Philly for a while. As a nurse who supervised a Alzheimer's and dementia unit, I am alarmed at this documentary. Now, I did hear that recently she has been put into a facility. I don't know how true that is for her cognitive impairment, right? So I'm thinking a dementia unit or maybe somewhere else. I mean, when you have money, you know, you have different opportunities, okay? When you have money, you know, then me or you would get put somewhere, you know. That documentary really disturbed me. Okay, I Spy said we got to watch it again because he fell asleep on some parts. I fell asleep on some parts. I told him I don't want to watch it again. I don't. When she was in Florida, and this is all alleged in my opinion, okay? My personal opinion, okay? From my experience, my professional background, and I'm not an expert, okay? We all can still learn things, but to me, when they showed her in the beginning, when she was in Florida, when her family took her to Florida, she looked healthier, okay? She looked healthier. The family says that she was not drinking. They would not allow her to drink. Then she had to go to New York for a court case, and she was removed out of the family's care and put with this guardian. And in my opinion, that's when things go downhill. And from the family's perspective, you know, they didn't have contact with her. They did not have access to her. But the documentary, when they speak about her money and why the hold was put on her account in the first place, they're not naming the suspicious activity. I heard, and this is alleged, and I remember hearing something that the son did something with one of her credit cards, right? I think it was an American Express card. Big sums of money, right? So that's what banks do. You know, I was telling I Spy because I think they locked his account once because they didn't understand the charge. And it was not the amount of money that they're saying that was taken or the charges. We probably might not ever see that type of money in this lifetime. We probably might not. You never know, but I'm just keeping it real. So the way our bank accounts work, like my account got locked. I went to go pump gas and they were like, you know, no funds. And I'm like, this is BS. I know I have funds, you know, for gas, $20-something. Well, it was because Netflix, they must have changed something in their billing name or something. And it was my Netflix routine charge. And it did it to me twice because they didn't recognize it, because I think they changed something in their name. So they locked my little account because of Netflix. And it's happened to I Spy. Especially some people, if you travel out of state and they know you live in this state, and then all of a sudden you're doing all the shopping in this state, they may lock your account. So I get why the bank did that, okay? So we really don't know what was going on. It's alleged that her sister took 15 million. So we really don't know. So the bank account was locked, right? And then she's given these guardians, and they removed her from her family. So it makes you think, like, why would any court do that? If anything, you try to keep people with family first. Same thing with kids. If there's a family member that can come, you know, if the kid is removed from parents, then if the grandmother can take them, an aunt, sister, you know, you want to keep them with family before you put them in the system. So it's not making sense to me why they removed her from her family's care. And the way they kept blocking out names, you know, it makes me think that they're suspecting that the family was financially abusing her. Maybe taking care of her physically, but maybe financially abusing her. But these people that they have her with now, her publicist, who doesn't seem very experienced, I'm looking at her side-eyed. I'm looking at everybody side-eyed. Everybody. Family and these people. And then her manager, Will. How long has he been her manager? It's like, before you could be promising her she's getting a podcast or getting back on TV or anything like that, take care of the health first. One thing I will say is the manager on camera is after her about her drinking and what she has to do on camera. However, how is she getting this alcohol? Now, I have seen videos, and maybe you have too, of her getting out of Ubers, going into liquor stores to buy drinks. I have seen it. And I mean, she wants to drink. I don't know, you know, she has an addiction. She wants to drink. She enjoys drinking. But I also think she has enablers. I really do. And I think on camera, these people are pretending to have her best interest at heart, but maybe they want her in that state so they can further take advantage of her, because I think she's still being taken advantage of. I'm sorry. You know, but she did at the restaurant. She went out to dinner with Will and I even forgot the name of this publicist, but if you've seen it, you know who I'm talking about. Is her name Sean? He told the waiter to not put any alcohol in her drink. Now, she got a beverage in a margarita glass. With her cognitive impairment, she didn't even realize she wasn't drinking alcohol. I have gotten admissions where they came in as smokers. Maybe they had an alcoholic issue before they were admitted. But you know, the doctor would order the nicotine patch that would help, you know, them with withdrawals. But I think with Wendy, if you told her, with her state that she's in now, I think if you told her, if you put water in a bottle, I really don't know if she would notice. She's really bad off. She really is. She has aphasia, so she can't express herself. So you're aligning her up for these interviews for podcasts. How can she do an interview when she can't have a sentence? And I seen a clip, because I didn't really watch her TV show, of her last days on air, and she had somebody on the screen, and she started talking about something that didn't even apply, and the guest was like, what's happening here? You know, it's really sad. It just really, really is sad. And what pissed me off the most is that dumb publicist booked her flight tickets to LA and had her set up for a meeting with NBC. I don't even know if it was a real meeting. I fell asleep, guys, but I seen enough. Had her, and the way Wendy was dressed, in my personal opinion, because people might not think I always dress appropriate for my size, but I feel like if I feel comfortable, it doesn't matter what you feel or you think. If I find an outfit or something and I feel comfortable, I'll wear it. You know, because with plus size, they make everything. I mean, back in the days, plus size, you got church clothes. I mean, they really didn't give us a lot of color, a lot of variety. Now, being a plus size woman, you want your belly out, they making shirts with your belly out. You want your back out, you want whatever. But it doesn't necessarily mean everybody should wear that. But if you feel comfortable, I'm all for it, right? To go to this meeting with NBC, I don't know. Wendy looked cute, but I mean, she had on these pom-pom shorts, these, they weren't fishnet, but they were a designed stockings, fur boots, you know, this pink top, and you could tell she's so malnourished, okay? I don't know, and her face, her makeup was very vibrant. I mean, it was really, I don't want to say clown face, but it was really bright. But, you know, she's Wendy Williams, okay? But I don't think that was an appropriate outfit to choose. You know, now when I was doing care plans, Just because somebody has Alzheimer's or dementia doesn't mean they're no longer a person. Doesn't mean before you go in the room to provide care, you don't knock on the door and announce yourself. It doesn't mean that you just pull the covers off of them and say, get up, you're taking a shower. You still have to greet them. Good morning, Mrs. Ross. How are you doing today? Isn't it a beautiful day? Let me open the blinds and let some sunshine in. How are you feeling? How did you sleep last night? You still talk to them because they're still a human being, okay? This is why this is really upsetting me. I did this for 12 years and I loved it. I would tell the aides, you still have to give them a choice. You just don't go to the closet and say, this is what you're wearing today. But you don't give them too many choices because they can get agitated. It's just too much for them to process. So as you can see, as people are talking to her sometimes, she would get agitated because it's too much for them to process. So for her to be put through this documentary and these meetings, I just don't think it's right. You have to get the medical right before you can even do that. And to be honest with you, in her current condition, it's over. And one thing I will say about what the son said, he feels his mother has worked enough. And she has. She was on the radio for decades. Then she did the talk show for 14 years. She has enough money where it's over now. But I understand she still wants to work. She still wants to be productive. But she is no longer who she was. And that's something with Alzheimer's and dementia. Their memory is a lot of times they would come out the room. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I'm late for work. I got to go for work. And what you have to do is you tell therapeutic lies. The office is closed today, Mrs. Ross. You don't have to go to work. Your secretary called and the building is under maintenance. Can you believe there was a flood last night? So, you know, you're going to be working from home today. Just have breakfast. You're going to have breakfast first and I'll bring you a computer. You know, you have to go along with it. It's therapeutic lies, okay? And I know it may sound cruel, but you know there's no more job, okay? And they're not going to grasp the reality of there's no more job. And that's only going to agitate them if you tell them, listen, NBC doesn't want to do a podcast with you, Wendy. You know, they just don't want to do it with you. That might agitate her, make her want to drink more. So therapeutic lies, yes. I can't believe it. The exec at NBC had a emergency and the meeting is going to be postponed. That's how you have to do it. But I don't even know, because I fell asleep, if she made it to the meeting or not. But what pissed me off the most is they went out to eat. Wendy ordered 3 Grey Goose beverages. I don't know what it was, but it was something with Grey Goose. Okay? And she had plates in front of her untouched. And that freaking publicist is sitting there stuffing her face. So she can have alcohol, but she can't have food. Nutrition is really, really big, especially in these patients, in these people. They have to eat. You understand what I'm saying? And if you look at her thighs, I mean, she's sticks and bones. My arm is bigger than her leg. And I mean, I have big arms, but I'm just saying, you can tell she is not being fed properly. And I guess the family wants the courts or the world to see what's really going on. I do not think Will and this Sean, if that's her name, are good for her either. I don't. I think they're all about the paycheck. And to be honest with you, I think the concern is fake for the cameras. Because how is she getting the alcohol? Who's supplying the alcohol? Yes, I have seen videos of her out and about in New York City getting in an Uber. Who's supplying the money for the Uber? If her finances are on lock and she's under your care. And then he picks up a wad of money from her jewelry box, a stack. And on camera, why is this money here, Wendy? You have to keep up with it. So it's just like he's trying to secure his position to say, look what I found. I found money just in her jewelry box. If I didn't find it and tell her that, you know, this is wrong, then, you know, they have to me, for camera, they were trying to justify their purpose. Like they're really looking out for her. But when the cameras are not rolling and when the Lifetime left, they might be handing her the bottle. I was pissed off. Guys, this is dry as hell. I was really pissed off. I'm just, it's very upsetting. She's not, now if she's in a facility, I hate to say it, that might be the best place for her, with medical professionals who deal with Alzheimer's and dementia, where she could get her medication to help her. And I, you know, the biggest hardest part of my job was dealing with the family members. Medication can be therapeutic. The idea is not to sedate somebody. We don't want them sedated, but the anxiety, the depression that comes along with it, the paranoia needs to be treated. Because if somebody's paranoid, who wants to be constantly paranoid? When you hear people hallucinating, seeing people, hearing voices, they're not going to have a good quality of life. They're not going to sit down to a meal because they can't, because they're coming to get me. I mean, I've seen it all. Or their mind, they can't focus on the meal because their mind is all over the place, you know, and her mind is getting back on TV, being NBC, and my money. She's not eating. She's not doing anything. And the alcohol is just, I've seen some early onset cases of dementia, and most of it was vascular dementia. And some of those people that had that were alcoholics. So I really feel like the alcohol is the reason why. And I feel she turned to alcohol because she had 2 major losses hit practically the same damn time. The public embarrassment and the demise of her marriage to Kevin, which I believe she really loved. And people said they feel like, oh, he really protected her or whatever. He was a piece of shit. Excuse my language, but he was. You know, he was just all in for the money. You know what I mean? And all he did was strong arm anybody else that was trying to get to the money too. So he was protecting her from other people, but who was protecting her from him? Don't get me started. Do not get me freaking started, okay? With him. Horrible. Anyway, but she lost him, okay? A person who was in her life for decades, okay? And then her mom, which was very heartbreaking. And people say, and she has said, that her mom was like a girlfriend. You know, very close. I did buy that Kiss lash glue. It's okay, guys, but it just is very thick. It's very thick. And it leaves a white residue. But anyway, so I think, you know, she turned back to alcohol to self-medicate. That's a lot. That is a lot for somebody to handle, you know? Public embarrassment. Because personally, I think she knew. She's not dumb. She's a Cancer like me. Now, maybe she didn't know initially when it started, but I mean, he was with that girl for a long, long time. So, you know, after a while, I think she knew. You know, but I think the nail in the coffin was the baby. And the world finding out. Okay? I think that was the nail in the coffin. Us finding out and the baby. You know? As far as her son goes, I mean, I don't know. I know she loved her son, you know. In her well days, that's all she talked about was Kevin Jr. She loved her son. Do I think he was stealing from her, giving money to the father? So many thoughts go in my head. I just think he was a rich kid and he had access and he just was living the life, you know? But some people say, you know, Wendy gave him whatever he wanted. So I just think he did what, you know, any other entitled rich kid might do. Take advantage of, you know, the situation or the money. You know, she paid $100,000 for one of his birthday parties. He was living in Miami, you know, living the life. You know, I believe he loves his mother. But in the documentary, I think he said he hadn't seen her for 8 months. So I don't know. And she would get very emotional when somebody would bring him up. But it just was it's a hot mess. Again, the most recent thing I heard is that she was in a facility, getting help. But unfortunately, dementia, Alzheimer's, it's my hardest part was dealing with the family members because of the denial. They felt like when you just bring up medication or discuss medication with them, that, oh, you just want them drugged. That's not it. If your mom is so anxious, she has all this anxiety and depression, not wanting to get up, not wanting to bathe, not wanting to eat, you have to treat that issue. We're not trying to sedate anybody. We want them to have the best quality of life that they can. But somebody hearing voices, seeing voices, anxious, anxiety, constantly pacing, that not eating, not drinking, that's not a quality of life either. So the biggest part, and you have to be understanding and sympathetic to the family because they're seeing somebody that they love slip away right in front of them. It's like you see the person that you knew just slowly dying every day. So, you know, I'm not saying that's easy for them either, you know, but just getting them to trust you as a medical professional and letting them know that we have their best interests at heart is kind of, some people think you just, you know, you don't care and you just want them sedated in a corner so they don't bother you, so you're not chasing them as they're pacing or trying to escape. And at least for me, that's not where I was coming from. Loved it. And the reason why I gave up that position was because of management, not because of the job. Unsafe staffing conditions. You know, you have these people, you have to take care of them. And you're taking away more and more staff and expecting us to be able to do that job. Dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia, you can't just go in there and say, okay, it's going to take me a half an hour to do this shower and bath, or to give my medication pass is only going to take me this time, because you're dealing with people like Wendy, who is going to tell you, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting up. I'm not taking a shower. I'm not taking that medication. And you have to spend time with them, trying to talk to them, convince them. It might take them 2 hours to eat their lunch, where a healthy person, you know, you sit down, okay, lunch is from 8 to 11, and then we're going to do activities, or we're going to do this. You have more of a schedule. But in Alzheimer's and dementia, you can't really, you can't, you know, or, you know, you want 4 aides to take care of 40 people, and you're thinking 10 residents per aide is enough, but yet these are 10 Alzheimer's and demented residents who, Sally, you go knock on her door, she's fighting, get out of here, I'm not taking my shower. Then you go to Mr. Herman and he's doing the same. Or when you go in that room, he turned the room upside down and you got to clean that up. So they just weren't getting it, and it was all about profit, and that's what healthcare has become, unfortunately, all about profit. And I could not manage, I wasn't going to be a part of that. You're not going to have me associated with that, because showers are not getting done. This one is slipping through the cracks because you just possibly can't do it with the amount of people that you want to give me. That's not fair. So that was like, it just kept getting worse and worse. And for me, I couldn't do it anymore, you know, but I did love it. And again, the residents were a pleasure. So many different personalities, so many years of rewarding work, but it has to be safe as well, because who are they going to come down on, and whose license are they going to go after? You understand what I'm saying? So it was depressing. My heart goes out to, I don't know why I put a piece of gum in my mouth, y'all. I'm sorry. It was depressing. My heart goes out to Wendy. And she just needs the right people in her corner. And these, Will and Sean, or whoever, if that's her name, they ain't it. They are not it. And I don't know about the family either. It's just very sad, because when you have money and you have people that want your money, there's motives. And it just was hard to watch, y'all. It was hard. It was hard to see such an icon, such a talent go out like that. It really is. And it's a wrap. There's no podcast. She's not. It's going, once you start having those impairments and cognitive loss and stuff like that, unfortunately, you don't get it back. Okay? When brain cells die, they don't come back. Those are one of the cells it's a wrap. And it's sad. It really is sad. I mean, if they really want to be therapeutic, get some podcast equipment and let her say what, just practice doing interviews. I mean, I would have residents folding laundry, you know, women that were homemakers. If you had a secretary, you can get some paper, some envelopes, and have them fold envelopes. Make them feel productive. There are ways to make them feel productive, but you have two people that are not medical people who know nothing about Alzheimer's and dementia, letting this woman spiral out of control. I think that is just so horrible. Again, I hope the rumors are true that she's in a facility, or even if she's not in a facility, she has money, put her in a house with private care, with people that are trained in Alzheimer's and dementia care. Okay, because not everybody can do that job. There are some people that would take the job and they would quit because they can't do it. Okay? They're not the right fit for it. You know, healthcare, it has many layers to it. You have, you know, Alzheimer's and dementia care. You have psych, which they kind of run parallel. You have, you know, regular care, you know, pediatric care. There's other things you can do in healthcare. So if something's not the right fit, there are other departments you can work in. And there's some people that came to my unit that it just was not for them. They could not do it, you know. It was too depressing. You know, I worked in the hospital for 1 year. It just was not for me. I did not like it. It was depressing to see young people come in, and I had just lost my father at that time, and that could have had a lot to do with it. But seeing young people come in, either cancer or, you know, they were healthy, and all of a sudden they get this major diagnosis. I did mother baby for a little while. That was happy, but then you had those mothers that, you know, left without a baby. So, I mean, you have to pick with what you can deal with. I never wanted to work with kids because I didn't think I could take it emotionally, seeing a sick child or seeing a child pass away. I am in pediatrics now. If you would have told me that, I would not have believed you, but I love it. You know, and I find it rewarding. So, you know, it's just, they need to put her with people who can care for her properly. But it was very, very depressing, guys. It was. It just wanted to share my take on it. It was just very, very depressing, and I don't want to see it ever again. I just don't. The parts I missed, I just missed. I seen enough. From what I seen all I need to see, and just pray for her. But thanks for rocking with your girl. We're on our way to Raleigh. I wasn't saying no this time. I Spy's driving, but we're going to go to the Cheesecake Factory, and I'm going to do some shopping. Just 1 or 2 stores. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.